very soon. So I want to draw another broad area with this. Instead of just using the cone, I'm going to draw it down to about 54, moving to, in fact, my track here. Let me do this off camera because I've zoomed in so tight. My track probably won't get me exactly to the correct speed of, or movement rather, of 25 miles per hour. So we're going to move that and move this as well. Let's see here, Kentucky 54, also known as Audubon Parkway. Thank you very much. Just got a message from a viewer about that. Greatly appreciate that. You're exactly right, 54 being the Audubon Parkway as well. So we'll now draw a squall on this. There's the latest update that just came in, took some of the red out, so that is good. This is getting very close now. By the way, this would be just crossing, now getting very close to the Davis County line of where this potential tornado would be. So I'm going to draw a squall along this entire area, move it up to the north and east at the speed that the warning was issued for, which would take it outside the polygon, but nonetheless, we're going to keep our speeds as accurate as possible with the movement of this. Newman at 3:46, that is 4 minutes away. Stanley, okay, we have a new tornado warning that has just been issued, and that makes perfect sense because as I told you, this tornado warning, as I just tracked it for you, would be taking it outside the polygon, and the Weather Service saw that, so they're going to continue this tornado warning on as well. But 354 Griffith and Patronville at 4:09 with this. So there are your two tornado warnings right now. It does include, again, this one includes Spencer County as well. This does include the city of Owensboro. Still includes Spotsville. That's the old warning. Let me get the particulars here from the National Weather Service as to extending this tornado warning now and see what they're saying, if they've changed any parameters. They're still just calling this only a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. So no confirmation yet that this is a tornado warning. And in fact, let me zoom out here to look at something else. There's that tornado warning for Perry County. Just want to kind of let you know that's basically out of Perry County at this time. The sirens in Henderson, city of Henderson, going off again at this time, but that is just because of this new tornado warning that was just issued here, which was now pulling out of Hebbardsville, getting now into Burke City, very, very close to Burke City. And of course, I want to kind of circle the exact area I'm looking at, which I'm thinking, you know, if you're watching with me right now, you can see this area of rotation right here as well. So this is just now crossing over. This is basically right on 54. As a viewer told me, I greatly appreciate that. Yes, the 54 is the Audubon Parkway, which we all know it more familiar as that. I would almost beg to say as well that this is very, very close. If it didn't cross over the Audubon Parkway, there's the latest scan for you right now, so I do want to put a track on this because I believe the National Weather Service has slowed down this storm just a little bit. Now they're going east at 20 miles per hour. This was northeast. Now they're just going due east on this one. So if this were to keep its track, this would get very, very close to Owensboro, at least the northern part of Owensboro. So let's go ahead, get a track on this for you, so that you know if this is heading toward your area or not. I do want to use the squall on this since this isn't an extremely, extremely tight couplet. But nonetheless, there we are. East at 20 miles per hour. So as you see here, we are still listing Stanley. Since this new warning has slowed it down a little bit, they have changed the time here on the system. As you see, Stanley now is at 3:50. Griffith at 3:54, Enterprise there at 4:01, and Pueblo coming in there at 4:50 as well. And of course, I believe Pueblo, I think that is in the southern part of Spencer County. I want to zoom in because Rockport, as you see there, nothing in your area yet, but you are in this area. You are in this particular tornado warning. So Rockport, you're fine right now, but definitely go ahead and be getting ready to take cover here very soon. There's your information for you on the tornado warning that you see there. Goes until 4:15 on this particular one. So this is now 30 minutes away before this is set to expire. Davis County, Henderson, and Spencer counties in Kentucky and Indiana, more specifically southwestern Spencer County, east central Henderson County, and central Davis County. Of course, that Davis County, not Davies County, this is just Davis County down in western Kentucky. So tornado warning continues on now for 30 more minutes for a portion here of western Kentucky that you see there in the red polygon. This is now pulling out of the Hebbardsville area. This will be heading towards Stanley at this time, also getting very close to the Sorgo area of western Kentucky, which of course is very close to the Audubon. This is probably, of course, it takes a few minutes to get an update in. This will be now, in my opinion, this will be just to the north of the Audubon Parkway. This will be south of US 60. So basically in between US 60 and the Audubon Parkway is where this tornado warning would be at this particular, or where the tornado would be rather, at this particular time. So if you live in those areas, you should already be in your safe zone, as we do have this tornado warning going on. Chief Meteorologist Wayne Hart showing up at this time now. Wayne, we've got a tornado warning in effect here for Henderson, Davis, and Spencer counties. Wayne goes until 4:45. They were seeing this area of rotation that you see here right now. In fact, they were getting kind of close to possibly maybe even canceling this, but it kind of was not showing any signs of weakening. So they went ahead and extended it, and they said the rotation was looking like what we saw earlier in Tell City, which we do have reports of damage in Tell City. Not sure if it's tornado damage or not, but some fences, damage to a warehouse building. So they did see this and decided to go ahead, and they just extended this warning now at this time. So it's not showing too much of a weakening yet, but there's 60, there's the Audubon in between it at this time. What we'll do now here is we're going to zoom in a little bit closer so that we can let you know in your community where this possible tornado is heading at this time. And it's not the tightest, but nonetheless, this is still very indicative that we could have a tornado with us at this time. So let's go to, we're going to pan this so that you can see it with me here at home. Hebbardsville, I'm going to give you the all clear at this time. This is already pushed through the Hebbardsville area. This is now in Burke City. This is right along the Davis-Henderson County line, directly south of Newman, Stanley. This is not too far away from you at this time. Sorgo, while I don't think this is going to be heading your direction, nonetheless, Sorgo, you need to be in your safe zone at this time. And I'm going to put another track on this for you so we can see where this direction is heading. I'll go ahead and once again use the squall, since it's still kind of a broad area here. I may be zoomed in a little too tight for this. Yeah, I'm zoomed in too tight, so we're going to have to back out here just a little bit here with this camera so I can get the exact speed on this. Let's go ahead and pan this over. Henderson, don't worry. City of Henderson, the sirens just went off. You're not under a tornado warning. This is just the now kind of the eastern portion here of Henderson County, so no concerns at all for the city of Henderson with this particular tornado warning. So here's our squall feature, and this is still pretty broad, so I'm just going to draw it right through here. This would be going right through where the tornado would be. This is moving now off to the east at 20 miles per hour. So Stanley, you keep showing up in my list. Just want to let you know what's going on there. 354 now it says for Stanley. Griffith 358, Enterprise 405, and Pueblo at 414. So we continue to see the same cities in the path of this tornado. So Owensboro, yes, you're under the tornado warning at this time, but if I were to use my guesses here, I would think Owensboro would be fine, but I'm not going to tell you Owensboro that you're on the all clear, because you're not. You're in the tornado warning. This, as we saw with that one in Tell City earlier, it began to drift down and go outside of the warning area, and they had to issue a new warning for that. So this is now, again, not going to give Owensboro the clear with this by any means, because you are in that particular tornado warning at this time. And again, this goes until 4:15. Let's check out here just again the particulars just to make sure. Yes, 4:15 is when this is set to expire. I want to go back, and we've been looking at storm relative velocity, but let's check out just the everyday regular velocity, and there is still that area. This is just now to the north and to the east of Hebbardsville. We'll zoom in here. I want to get pretty close, actually, to let you know in your area and even some particular streets as well. If I were to guess where this possible tornado might be at this time, it would be crossing US 60 in Stanley. That's where I would say this would be. So Fogle Road, Keene Road over towards the Newman area. Of course, there's Stanley right there, Barrett Road, Oxford Road, State Road 1554, and French Island Road, Wimsett Road. That's right off 60 as you're going towards Owensboro. If you're in any of those particular areas right now, you need to be in your safe zone. Lowest level of the floor of your home, and a helmet on, anything that you can to protect you at this time. Yes, Wayne?
Yeah, and Joe, I was just checking with some of the trained spotters in the area, and when one of their team members was in Hebbardsville,
yes,
they did not see anything actually descending. So, of course, that was about 5-10 minutes ago. You say that it may have been a little stronger once it moved into Davis County versus Henderson County?
Yeah, once it kind of been up and down just a little bit nonetheless, but a little bit stronger. I have not seen, luckily with this, very strong bright shades of red there. Just I've only seen the darker shades of blue with that.
It could be, hopefully, just some broad rotation, but obviously we are in an environment, and there's a new scan that just came in, getting it very close to Stanley.
Yeah, so this is going now into Stanley. This is getting very close to 60 over in Davis County. So what I'm going to do here is move our camera a little bit. I want to go back into street view on this so that we can tell you if this is getting near your particular area or not with you living in Stanley, Newman. I'm not going to give you the all clear with this just yet because this is getting a little too close. All right, so here we are right now, Barnett Road, State Route 1554, Laketown Road. Once again, there is French Island, there's Wimsett Road. Here is US 60. This will be in between Henderson and Owensboro right now is where this possible tornado is at. And as I move the map back over here, you can see we have this darker shade of blue with the shade of red, and that would be where your potential tornado is at this time. So with that new scan coming in, we'll zoom out here just a little bit, and I'll put a new track on this for you since we do have some new data in from the Weather Service as to where this is at. It's keeping right on line, though, Wayne. It's basically hasn't floated too much to the north or too much to the south. It's pretty much stayed in the north and east. Sorgo, yes, you're under tornado warning right now. But Sorgo, this is in Stanley, Burke City, just pulling out of view. So Sorgo, I do think you'll be okay, but nonetheless, stay in your safe zone. Newest scan just came in. Still kind of a broad rotation here. Nothing overly impressive, but nonetheless, that's still a very good indication that there's something going on right now inside of the atmosphere. So we'll cut it right through Stanley, basically with my squall line here. I'm just going to follow US 60. So Enterprise, you will be in the path of this next. And there is the timing coming in for us at this time. Griffith, 3:58. Enterprise at 4:06. Rio at 4:23. So that is now getting very close here to the Spencer County line of Rio. So that's still a while away. 3:54 is your current time. Predicting Rio at 4:23. So if this holds itself together, those are the time frames for it right now. So that's a good heads up for you right now in Rio and Enterprise as well. This Enterprise, this is knocking on your door. So there is Stanley right now. I want to go back to the radar, just the reflectivity itself, and see if we see anything going. So we kind of have this notch coming in here, which would be some inflow into the storm. And then there could be your rotation in the Stanley area. So nothing too much there, at least on the reflectivity. And it's probably some just continuation there of the tornado warning right now coming in from the Weather Service. But just to kind of check and see. Okay, so the Weather Service says storm over Stanley is okay, showing some more impressive shear. concern is increasing in Stanley for a tornado right now. So, Wayne, I'll let you take over for just a little bit so that you can kind of track and see what's going on as well.
Yeah. So we certainly have significant enough rotation to continue this tornado warning, and that rotation now in the Stanley area here, of course, tracking it on live first warning Doppler radar. And like Joe was saying, in the reflectivity mode, we can get a notch sometimes, or even better, a hook, which we saw earlier in the kind of the early stages of this storm. But now we've got this inflow notch right here, indicating where that rotation is, and of course, going back and forth between reflectivity and velocity. And we'll look at some of the raw velocity here, and again, you can clearly see the rotation. We got the blues moving towards the radar, the red's moving away. So it is rotation. It's not necessarily strong rotation. We're not seeing extreme velocities in either direction, but this storm is spinning. And of course, the question is it producing a tornado? We have no confirmation so far, but this storm is right over Stanley, not a huge city by any means, but obviously people in that community, along with some spotters in the area, should be able to confirm here shortly whether or not this is actually trying to reach the ground. The latest sweep that has just come in, kind of taking away those darker shades of blue up here, so that's an indication that maybe this is in a weakening mode right now. We'll go to storm relative velocity, and that's actually takes into account the motion of the storm. So we are still seeing some broad rotation here now between Stanley and Enterprise. So Enterprise would be the next community in line for a possible tornado. Again, this is just radar indicated at this point, but obviously in this situation, we haven't had tornado warnings here in quite a while. In the tri-state, it's been a fairly quiet summer, but we'll take this seriously, obviously, and you want to get in your tornado safe area in the Enterprise area, and of course that would be a basement if you have one, if not lowest floor of your home, and put as many walls between you and the wind as possible. You get underneath something sturdy like a mattress, very least a blanket over your head, piece of furniture, and of course if you've got a helmet, we always recommend that, shoes on your feet in case your home or wherever you are sheltering does get hit. But we are indicating broad rotation now with this severe storm pushing from Stanley into the Enterprise area, and we'll kind of push this. Let's go back here and kind of reposition the map here a little bit.
Hey, Wayne, I just got a tweet from, well, you just received a tweet from a viewer that says, tornado on the ground in Stanley.
In Stanley.
Now, I'm not too sure, you know, I don't, who this person may be, if there are storms. I'm not familiar with the person, them being a storm spotter. But Sour Lane, which is a road I've been seeing pop up, this be getting very close to. Okay.
Well, be sure to check with, there's Wayne Morrow and his team are out, so they may be streaming something right now. So let's check with them to see if we can get a visual on this. But that's our first confirmation from the public, at least, that we may indeed have a tornado here. But it's a public report. It's not from a trained spotter, so we're always use those a little cautiously. But obviously, we're seeing rotation here, and this storm is now moving from Stanley towards Enterprise, and of course, that's going to be crossing over now the Ohio River. That's Enterprise is right on the river there, so we're kind of getting near those river camps along the southern Spencer Davis County line to the northwest of Owensboro. So Owensboro, you're okay with this storm. This particular storm is moving this direction, and that's going to move up.
I just received another tweet that the Sheriff's Office is confirming this, so I'm going to have the newsroom help us out with this. But trees down and power outages in Stanley. Okay, so now Sheriff's Department. Possible Sheriff's Department. That's a viewer messaging me that. I want to get it confirmed with them directly.
So yeah, we're reading another report. We're trying to confirm it, that there has been a confirmed tornado in the Stanley area, and then that storm is now pushing into Enterprise, crossing over the Ohio River, and that's going to go into that rural area there. But of course, you got Rio right here, where 161 comes up from the south, and that storm is heading towards the Rio area right there. Of course, you've got the Wendy's and the gas station, the drive-in theater, of course, right here. So that's the area we're talking about in far southern Spencer County. Now under a tornado warning. This does include the Rockport area, and this is going to be a close call for Rockport, especially just to the west and north of the city of Rockport. But if you are in the Rio area, Enterprise, of course, right on the river, and that's a fairly small community, but obviously it's go time in Enterprise, but the next community is going to be Rio right here. Patronville, 161, I think everything is going to stay off here to your west. But as this storm continues to the northeast, Rio, which is not labeled on this particular view here, would be the next community in line. And then, of course, Rockport, the more populated area. Silverdale would come in after Rio if it continues on this northeasterly track. And, of course, we have Owensboro sitting down here. I think you're okay there in terms of the city of Owensboro, but it's now southern Spencer County that we're going to be focusing on as this storm is now crossing the Ohio River near Enterprise, rotating. We may have confirmation of a touchdown at some point in the Stanley area.
Oh, wow. Wayne, look at this picture.
Okay. We do have a...
This is a picture from a viewer saying this is on 60 west of Stanley.
Okay, so that indeed does look like a touchdown.
Yeah, it sure does.
And that's a fairly rural area out there. We can't... And you mentioned there might have been a little damage there in Stanley?
Yes, trees down and power outages in Stanley.
Okay, so yeah, we've gotten a photo in from the Stanley area of what certainly appears to be a tornado. And that storm now is moving into Enterprise, crossing the Ohio River, and it's going to be moving up here towards the Rio area, probably staying for the most part to the west of 161. Of course, Yankeetown, you're okay up there, but this is going to be pretty much where 66 and 161 come together. That's Rio right there. Sand Ridge, a close call for you also. But what I'll do here is kind of advance that a little more to the south, and then want to look at our shear tracker, which kind of over time shows us where we've got shear over time here. And I think we have that, yes, it'd be up here on this particular tab. So we're going to do shear tracks, and you can see it right here. And this is going to do a nice job in terms of the direction that this storm is moving. These are snapshots over time. About every 4 minutes, the first warning Doppler system color codes the rotation, starting with the light blue, then it goes to purples. So this was about 2 minutes ago. That was 5 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago. So you can clearly see the track that this is taking. It might be turning a little bit more to the northeast, but indeed, that's where we have unofficially confirmed a tornado touchdown in the Stanley area, and then that storm is going to continue up towards Enterprise. You can kind of see the direction this is moving, and I'll move the map even farther back here. This storm really started ramping up along I-69 there to the south of Henderson, and then it started getting stronger and more organized and is now crossing the Ohio River near Enterprise, but you can clearly see the path that this storm is taking. So we'll go back to first warning Doppler here. We're using the radar out of Gibson County. That gives us the best
Wayne, I've
angle.
got a picture of that tornado pulled up for us as well.
Okay, so we're going to be able to show this on air?
Yes, I've got it pulled up in the control room.
Okay.
There it is.
And give us a little more background on where this is from. And
This would be on 60 in Stanley, 60 west in Stanley.
okay, so this was taken approximately, I would think, 10 minutes ago when that storm was pushing through Stanley.
Probably so, because
Yeah.
the viewer just messaged us 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fortunately a big tornado, but it's on the ground. You can clearly see what appears to be, I wouldn't say debris, but dirt or something getting stirred up there. It does indeed look like that is extending all the way to the ground. And of course, by definition, it's a tornado when it touches the ground there, but a very distinct funnel here. And, you know, going into this event, we were kind of worried a little bit about brief tornadoes. Just because of the setup today, we're not anticipating long track tornadoes here, but tropical systems can throw a curveball at us sometimes, and that's what we're dealing with right now, that dying tropical Gordon. Remnants are now moving through the tri-state. All right, let's get back to live first warning Doppler. And there's that notch right now, cross over the Ohio River. This is where the rotation is now, pushing into Spencer County. So it looks like Davis County, you are pretty much in the clear with this particular storm. It is now basically crossed over into Spencer County. We're going to focus now on the Rio area next. That's right here. Of course, Rockport's over here. Owensboro, you're okay with this storm. It's over a rural area there. A lot of farmland there south of 66, west of 161. Probably some river camps that this went pretty close to. Not sure if that's close to the yacht club down there on the river in southwestern Spencer County, but I know there is one down in this area. Now, this is going to go right up towards Rio right here. Rockport's going to be close.